We are here at the Epishine booth at Embedded World 2026 to talk about a very exciting kind of new technology. The way that we make small devices has changed radically in the last short time because of the lower power requirements of many items, which brings to question, do we need traditional batteries and battery chargers in these kind of devices? Epishine as a company has really taken this idea quite seriously, and I think it's probably better for me to leave it to you to explain what is the technology that you are bringing to the table and what does it mean for the industry?
I mean, what we're trying to do is basically to replace disposable batteries. Yeah. That's the whole idea. But it's not only from sort of a sustainability standpoint, it's also actually to make the products better, to improve the products. So what we're doing is indoor solar cells in a very thin and flexible way. We print them roll to roll in our factory in Sweden, which makes it quite unique, both from a cost perspective, but also from a performance with the active layer that we have inside, and the flexibility and ease of integration into different kinds of electronics.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think anyone watching this video will have a reference in their minds to when you talk about solar cells or photovoltaics or things like this, how they fit into already existing systems. The idea that you're harnessing this energy needs to be stored and needed to be used. But the main difference here is not just the amount of energy that is being gathered from light. And indeed, as you say, indoor solar is a very important technology if this is going to be taken on. The way this energy can be used is different as well. For example, there are devices now which technically do not need batteries at all. Is that right?
I mean, there are, but you have to. Most often, you have to store the energy somewhere. So it's a supercap or a rechargeable battery, something that can store the energy that is provided by the light, because you don't use the energy at the same time that you harvest.
Yes.
You need to store it, and then you send data. If it is a remote control like the ones that you have behind you, I mean, it's when you press the data and the connection to the TV and or to the set box. Yeah. So there is a storage element as well, which we partner with many players that have these kinds of solutions.
Absolutely, yeah. But I suppose the larger difference in this particular instance is that you're not needing something particularly bulky to fit into a design. These are small and thin enough. I mean, I see a roll of them over there. We'll show them on the screen.
Super thin batteries that I mean, the Find My tracker that you have behind you there, it's 1.8 millimeters, the thickness of it. And that's with the solar cell, with the pouch battery, with all the components needed to make it run.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I guess one of the other questions, we did touch on it just before, I know one of the things that many people think of immediately when they think of solar power is that it has to be out in bright sunlight to be any use whatsoever. But that's where a key difference in this technology lies, right? That things that are typically used under unnatural light, in houses and things, now can make use of this same technology to again, eliminate one-use batteries in things, or batteries that are going to quickly break down and die, things like television remotes, as you were mentioning before. What difference is there in the technology? How have things changed in order to allow that to become a reality? Because it's something that was unthinkable even a short time ago.
Yeah, I mean, you have the traditional technologies like amorphous silicon. It's been around since the 80s. Yeah. I mean, you have it on your calculator that you have back home. Yeah. Exactly. So the difference is we provide about twice the amount of power in low light conditions. As we focus in low light conditions, that's where we excel. Yeah. But it's about twice, and it's easier to integrate. There's no glass element in it. It's flexible, so you can have it in stuff that is being thrown around like a remote control again.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Kids throw it on the table, it doesn't break because it's just PET and the active layer.
Absolutely.
So,
And for people who are hearing about this and are wondering the kind of designs they might want to integrate it into, what are the sort of use cases you envision seeing this kind of technology really excelling in? And if people are coming up with new designs, they might want to consider getting in touch with you.
Yeah. I mean, consumer electronics, I mean, we can say we focus on 4 different segments. Consumer electronics, that's remote controls, it's keyboards, it's mouses, stuff like that. Retail is what we really believe in to sort of hit off all the big retail players that are making price labels and different kinds of AI systems, video systems on shelf in retail stores. I mean, these have coin cell batteries or big bulky batteries that have to be replaced every 3, 4, 5 years. With this technology, it's going to run forever. And it's costly making changes of batteries. You have to have somebody doing it. To change your battery in your remote control. You go to the kitchen, you pick up another couple of batteries, it's okay. But in retail, it's actually a real cost related
Absolutely,
to that
yeah,
change of batteries. And then you also have the sustainability aspect of it. I mean, there are maybe 50,000 price tags in a big Walmart store, for example.
Yeah.
Each of these have 2 coin cell batteries. That's
Yeah.
100,000 batteries gonna end up on the dumpster somewhere. I mean,
Absolutely,
that's not good for anybody. So
Yeah, absolutely.
if you can make these run forever by using the light in store, and there's a lot of light in retail as well.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, probably in here we have 500 lux right now.
Yeah.
In a normal retail store, you have between 500 and 1,000 lux. So there's a lot of lux, and there's also long hours.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect use case. And then you have like stuff like this one, like an IoT sensor device for measuring humidity, CO2 levels, temperature, etc. That can just sit on the wall. You don't have to touch it ever again. It's sending data
Yeah.
every once in a while.
Yeah, it's a truly independent device when it comes to power at that point,
Yeah,
because it's been removed from the normal charge and release things that happen. So for people who go right ahead.
The last big one, I
yeah.
would say, is asset trackers, like
Yeah.
a BLE tracker like this that is super flexible.
Yeah.
And you can put it on your package and you track it around the world, like a Find My Apple tracker.
Incredible, yeah.
And
So just for reference, we'll get a close up of it in a moment. What you're showing me here is something that looks like a very thin photovoltaic cell or a solar panel, but this is the whole thing, right? This is built in. This has a small, yeah.
And this one is actually flexible as well. So there's a flexible PCB inside here.
That's incredible.
So,
yeah.
And with the stickers, you just stick it on your package, you can track it around the world, or in your warehouse environment, or whatever you want to track. So.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I think this is a very good example of where this kind of technology is going to shine. And speaking of which, people who may want to start thinking about using this kind of technology in their designs, if they want to get in touch with you to talk about what's available, these kind of reference designs and how they could maybe use them in their designs, what's the best way for any developers or any marketing people to get in touch with you to talk about that?
I mean, our website is pretty good. I'm very proud of our marketing team, and there is connection points all over the website. Depending on where you get in on the website, you get the right connection through the website, which is epishine.com.
Absolutely, and the Epishine website will be the first link below this video. As always, it'll be in the blog post. And if you would like to find out anything more about it, do head over to the blog post. But for now, thank you very much for giving me your time today. This is super exciting. Yeah, thank you so much.